Bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game.
Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man, how you doing? Today's Thursday, September 14th. 257 days into the new year, just 108 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California, and I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your oh-so-humble host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? Yeah, man. Tonight is another Fadernight with Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom live. The call-in numbers are 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. You can follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio, Facebook, YouTube. Everything is Fade to Black. Jimmy Church Radio, J Church, Fade to Black, whatever. Just go to the website, click right there. Follow, like, and subscribe. All those little icons are right there. And so a couple of things really quick, and I do want to thank everybody for coming in tonight, and we will just have another great show. Open lines all night long. Everything is on the table. The sandbox is hashtag F2B on Twitter. Simple enough right there. Hashtag F2B. And any questions or comments during the show tonight is hashtag F2BQ. All right, that's Fade to Black questions. We have chat rooms over at KGRA and Spreaker. And I say this every Thursday night. If 140 characters limits you, then, you know, Twitter's not for you. Just go over to one of the chat rooms and you can hang out right there. And I do keep the chat rooms live. Hello, everybody. There's Gene, Alan, Old Desert Gal, Tina, Egyptian Princess, Catalina. I'm just watching them pass by here. Do Sky, right? Okay, so hello to everybody. As I could sit here and just name everybody all night long, right? Alan, there you go. Okay, so we have chat rooms, and email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. It's all very simple. A couple of things really quick I want to get out of the way. Do subscribe to our podcast. We have over 700 archive shows right there. Custom apps, Apple, Android, all platforms, just $2 a month. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com and then and click on the link. Go over to the iTunes store. Go to Google. We did an upgrade on an update on the Apple app, and we're waiting for Apple to get that going. And it's been now a few days, and we're done. You know, it's been submitted. We just have to wait. Apple's got their processes there. Yes, I've gotten a lot of email about it, and so is Rita. I've just signed up. I want the Apple. Well, it's there. Anybody that's running old versions of it, that's all fine and dandy. But for the last week or so, It's been missing in the Apple Store, but it should be there tomorrow, maybe later on tonight, but tomorrow. But we did our part last week, okay? And Apple said 3 to 6 days. So here we are. I think today's day number 6. So it should be up there shortly. All right. And in the meantime, you can also become a member. Just go over to our membership area right there on Fade to Black and become an official Fadernight. And you can do it for free. You can sign up for free. Like tonight, everybody that's there in the bunker can. You're getting that for free, right? Just sign up to become a Fadernight. Or you can just move on down the list, the Bacon Bar, right? You can do all the way to Game Changer, get T-shirts and autographed hats. And of course, you're going to get downloadable commercial-free archives and all the things that go with that, okay? Email to me and so forth. Okay, so become a member today. Help support the show. And don't forget all of our sponsors like Life Change Tea, getthetea.com, of course. One of the great companies out there. Take it every single day. I am on the full Life Change Tea program there. And River Moon Coffee. River Moon just sent us, very cool. They just sent it to us, but I'm just going to let you guys know. I've got pictures of it. I took it today. They sent us some Faded Black blend, but the labels have a picture of Jim Mars and myself on it. Very cool. And now what do you do with that, right? Do you open it or do you leave the coffee in it forever and just keep it, right? Do I put it in the bug out bag? What do I do with that? But I took pictures of it. Thank you, the good people over at River Moon Coffee. And New Pharma, another amazing product. And it's nothing but science there. New Pharma. Okay? And use the promo code F2B over there. And you're going to get 33% off of your order. Ancient Life Oil, another CBD. Somebody sent me an email going, man, CBD just relieves pain. Oh, man, you don't understand it then if that's what you think. CBD. Right there, Ancient Life Oil. Sacred Skulls has got a new offer for you Fadernauts. And I don't know if we have it up on the banner yet, but I'll tell you now. Just mention Jimmy or Fade to Black when you order a Sacred Skull, 15% off of your order. And that is artwork. Judy Kyle is an artiste. Go visit Sacred Skulls and check out the stuff there. It's amazing. It's truly amazing to look at. And you'll get 15% off of your order. Just mention Fade to Black that you're a listener here, you're a Fadernaut, and you're a friend of mine, and boom, 15% off of your order. All right. And, of course, Studio Dome speakers, still one of the greatest deals on all of the Internet 2 stereo speakers in a hard shell case. Wireless, stereo, Bluetooth. There you go. Okay, let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to today. Sam Neill is 70. And this caught my eye because, and it must have been because it was his birthday, but it was like last week or a few days ago. And it's late at night and I'm surfing, just looking for something to watch so I can fall asleep. And in a row, all over satellite, were Sam Neill movies, all on at the same time. I'm like, how many movies? So I jumped over to IMDb. I mean, we all know, Sam, of course, but you just kind of forget. He's one of the busiest working people in show business. Sam Neill today is 70 years old. Our dead guy's birthday today, it's kind of sad. Amy Winehouse, 1983 to 2011. OD'd at the age of 27, barely got the career started, just started to blow up, right? And there you go. Amy Winehouse up there singing somewhere, just a loss of a tremendous talent. OTD on this day in history, it finally happened on this day. 1959, Soviet rocket carrying a Russian flag crashes into the moon, becoming the first man-made object sent from Earth to reach the lunar surface on this day, allegedly in 1959. Fader fact. It's a fact. Wine. I don't drink wine. Wine can be aged by passing it through an electric field for 3 minutes. And that's how you make the good stuff. You get the box wine, no glass. Get the box wine. Yeah. Okay, it's a fact, though. It's a Fader fact. There you go. Tonight's another Fader night with Jon Rappoport, and there's no more Fake Newsroom Live. He'll be here at the bottom of the hour. If you were in the bunker cam room right before the show, a little pre-show, I told everybody what Jon was going to talk about tonight. But you got to sign up, and you would know right now, right? He'll be here at the bottom of the hour. All right. Well, I kind of want to do this. All right. I'm going to do this right now. I want you to listen to David Lynch speaking about negativity. Listen to this.
That's a very great question. Very great question. The analogy for that is they say negativity is just like darkness. And so you look at darkness and you say, wait a minute, darkness isn't really anything. It's the absence of something. So it doesn't matter how dark the night has been, when the sun comes up, automatically, without trying, the sunlight removes the darkness. Sunlight doesn't remove negativity, but this light of unity removes negativity just like sunlight removes darkness. Negativity is just the absence of that all-powerful bliss and all-powerful love, all-powerful energy, dynamic peace, harmony, coherence. You enliven that, and negativity lifts away. It can't live in that light.
There you go. David Lynch bringing it. Now, I have never heard that particular presentation before. I haven't, and I've never heard David speak specifically about this. But, man, did that hit home. Right? The words were exactly what the show is about and what we are all talking about today. Now, how cool is that? David Lynch. And words of wisdom for sure, but it made me realize that I was on target, I was on pitch in our message here and what we are trying to say, what we are trying to create, what we are trying to do when we talk about UniWiki, or we're talking about unity in our community. We're talking about don't listen to the negativity and what it is. And certainly when we talk about some of the older stuff in the mystery schools and Egypt, Ra, sun gods, chaos, light, dark, and to think about what darkness really means and how that thought process was created was the fear of the sun going down. Because when the sun went down, and you have to always appreciate it for this. When the sun went down, the animals, the carnivorous, those night crawlers, they came out at night to eat, right? Catch everybody at their weak point. And so you're supposed to be resting and get ready for the day, but you had to sleep with one eye open, right? The darkness, and you prayed and hoped, for that moment when the sun would come up and the sun would rise and the light would come back. Unbelievable words of wisdom from David Lynch. And we need that right now because 3 hours before showtime tonight, 3 hours ago, North Korea fired another ballistic missile from right around Pyongyang, and the missile flew right over Japan into the North Pacific Ocean. Japan's public broadcaster, NHK, showed a government warning, flashed it up on the screen, and it's known as the J alert. And I got to tell you, man, if you're in Japan and you see the J alert pop up, nothing good is happening right now. we used to have that here in the United States. We don't do it anymore, right? The national broadcasting system and the alert and the and that thing would flash up on the screen and tell you to turn your TVs to, what was it, channel 1 or whatever, and that would scare you. And sometimes when that thing would pop up, that thought would pop into your head. I wonder if this is, if this is just a test. And then they would say, this is only a test. But it happened every time. Well, it just went down again 3 hours ago in Japan to have the J alert. And the J alert said that a missile had passed over Hokkaido, northern Japan, landed in the Pacific Ocean. The NHK stated that the government is advising people to stay away from anything that could be missile debris. Now, the missile ended up landing about 1,240 miles off of the Cape of Yorimo in Hokkaido at about 7:16 a.m. local time. So exactly 3 hours ago, by the way. The launch comes just hours after North Korea responded to the United Nations Security Council's unanimous approval of the additional sanctions that were threatening, once again, North Korea. And North Korea turns around and says, you know what? We're going to sink Japan and reduce the U.S. mainland into ashes and darkness. Now, this was the North Korean state media. And last week, now you just have to, I'm not fear-mongering here. I'm just reporting what's going on. Last week, a South Korean lawmaker briefed by his country's intelligence service said it appeared that North Korea was moving another intercontinental ballistic missile, getting ready for a launch. And I just thought, you know what? This comes after the test, and this comes after they just fired one over. It can't be, right? It won't happen. Not this time around. Somebody's just going to chill. Well, it happened again today. Now, prior to today's launch, listen to this. The 2017 has just been, for me, one crazy year of technology progress for North Korea when it comes to its missile program. Because before this launch, the country has fired 21 missiles during 14 tests since February. Think about this. Every launch, they're tightening down the screws. They're figuring things out every launch. Back on July 4th, they conducted their first launch of an ICBM, and which they were claiming could reach anywhere in the world. You know what? I don't want to find out. Of the missiles tested before that, one was an intermediate range missile, 2 were medium range, 8 were either short range or medium range, and the range of 1 is unknown. And it fired four on June 8th, and they were surface-to-ship cruise missiles. Where's this money coming from? All these sanctions, they don't export anything. They, for a country with trade and GDP somewhere reported around $4 billion, where is the money coming from? This is expensive stuff. Where, I don't understand. Somebody is paying for this. And I don't think it's North Korea, to be honest with you. I just don't. I don't know who it is. I don't. You think of the rogue nations out there that are crazy enough to not care about this. You can count those on just one hand. So who is it? Less than 6 years into his reign, Kim Fatty Fat has tested more missiles than his father and grandfather combined. Combined. Today, let me give you a big if, a big what if. Seriously, just one big what if. If the missile flew over Japan today, just hours after Kim Fatty Fat threatened to sink Japan, and what if something went wrong? What if? What if something went wrong? What if it went off course? And this is the crazy thing. Even if it was on course, I mean, there's no telling about what tech or lack of tech they actually have. You know, think of it in those terms. Are they just firing these just like in a general direction till they run out of fuel? You know, they don't have boats out there retrieving these missiles. They're not getting much information off of it. I can guarantee you we're out there. You know, that missile fires and it falls into the... We are right there. Submarine. We are getting that missile. You know, if we're not, we're stupid. But what kind of technology is involved there? What kind of guidance system? You know, so what if it was on course? What if it went off course? What if something went wrong with the guidance system? What if something went wrong with the propulsion system, with the engines? What if it just crashed into or onto Japan? That's some of the danger that we're in right now because everybody's got their finger on the button. So what if? That's one of the craziest parts of all of this when we talk about Kim Fatty Fat. You know, it's one thing to your territorial waters and you're shooting stuff a couple of miles out into the ocean and you got targets, or you're firing stuff on your own, inside of your own country, and you're hitting targets or whatever. But you're just lobbing stuff out over a country that you just said you were going to sink into the ocean. And that thing, what if they were testing a nuclear warhead? What if they had one on and it went into Japan? No warhead into Japan, blows up in the middle of a town or a city. Then it's game on. That's the danger that's going on here. It's not the threat of improving missile technology. It's not the threat that, we know they've got nuclear weapons. We know that they're trying to arm these missiles, and we know that they have the missiles, and we know that they're pissed off. And we've certainly been provoking them. So we've got this crazy situation that is presenting itself right now. What if that missile crashed into Japan 3 hours ago? Right now, we would be at war. Right now. And that's crazy. It's not a joke. The part about all of this fear-mongering, fear thing, right now, all of that needs to be put aside. We have to figure out what to do. What to do. To me, we have two choices. And this is it. We have two choices. One, we right now start, and neither of them are good. Right now, we just fired 200 cruise missiles into Korea, into North Korea. Take out all of the missile sites, take out the science facilities, take out the nuclear facilities. Right now, all of the missiles and artillery batteries that are pointing at Seoul right now, and just do it. That's choice number one. Choice number two, accept North Korea as a nuclear power. Stop right now and just go, okay, we give. You're a nuclear power. The other nuclear powers around the world, this is what the media will tell us. It's all I know. I haven't visited Pakistan, India, China, Russia, right? I haven't done this, so I don't know. I haven't talked to any of their military people. But by and large, all of those nuclear powers that are there don't use their offensive capabilities and the knowledge of that they have nuclear weapons to threaten everybody in the world with explosive, crazy talk rhetoric. That doesn't happen. Imagine if any of those nuclear powers did do what North Korea is doing right now, right? So if we accept North Korea as a nuclear power, which is another option, and just go, okay, we've got to live with this, because what's the alternative, right? So North Korea, with that, is North Korea going to chill out, back up, and shut up? No, they won't. But that's the other choice. They will not. And the second that they feel threatened, what are they going to do? Or they don't like a situation, what are they going to do? They get pissed off at somebody, what are they going to do? Threaten them with nuclear annihilation? So those are the two choices that we have. The negotiating has been going on for 20 years, and that certainly, it's been going on longer than that. But that certainly has done nothing. As a matter of fact, being a pacifist in this thing and not being assertive in these negotiations and handling this from the word go has put us into this position now. And they have managed to, with no money, nothing, right? Nothing. They have got a nuclear arsenal. Some reports now are that they have 20 weapons stockpiled. 20. If one of those got across the border and was driven, you don't need a missile, man. Put that thing in the trunk of a car, in the back of a van, and drive it to the middle of Seoul. Think about that. Put that thing on a boat, put that thing on a submarine, and run that into somebody's harbor. Think about that. That's the crazy part. And I don't know how to deal with this darkness. We cannot turn back time. We cannot do that. We can't jump in a time machine and go backwards and try to figure this out. Right now, these are the cards we are dealt. So what do? I honestly don't know. And if I was POTUS, hard decisions, right? The thing is, okay, so I thought about this. I've got 60 seconds, and I want to wrap here. This is the thing. What would be the one thing that he would respond to right now that would be guaranteed? The one that would just freak him out? You know what I would do? I would tell Seoul to evacuate. I would tell all 20 million people to pack your stuff and head south, way south, now. Not tomorrow, tonight. Seoul gets emptied. That right there would maybe wake him up. Okay, and we don't go to war. Maybe he would just go, you know what? I tap out. I tap out. Nuclear program's over. Just maybe it would be that kind of gamesmanship. And we can do it without going to choice number 1 or choice number 2. And this is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's open lines all night long, but first, you know the drill. It's Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom live right here in just two short minutes. 2 short minutes after this short break. And then the cool, smooth tones of Mr. Jon Rappoport. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black Blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. Let's wind the clocks back 60 years. Food was different. Food provided health and nutrition, and using supplements was minimal. Unfortunately, now we have chemicals, GMOs, herbicides, and pesticides that can be quite lethal in the name of our food supply and, of course, the ever-loving dollar. Supplementing our diets can be very important to stay healthy. Cleansing from daily intruders to the body might be critical. Live strong and take charge. Log on to getthetea.com. Our herbal tea is a great way to cleanse from intruders. Our supplements is a great way to maintain and improve your health. When your health is not up to par, go to getthetea.com. No GMOs, no fillers, and organic, and very helpful in keeping you at the top of your game. Life is too short to feel, you know what I mean. Stay in the game, at the top of your game with getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Again, getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake News room in deep space, which is the space that we suspect to be true, that the world as it is fed to us every day by the Ministry of Truth is a lie, a false reality, a movie projected on the screen of our subconscious. This, however, is the breakout. All the screens crash, they all go down, and we see the light of day. A new day. No more robots. No more androids. It's the No More Fake Newsroom with Jon Rappoport. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. Good to be here, folks. Got a very interesting story tonight. Published this article on my site, More Fake News, the other day. It's gotten around and some interesting comments on it. It has to do with a book that was published in 2001 called Rulers of Evil. And it was written by my late friend Tupper Saussy, Saussy. I knew Tupper while he was writing the book. I had no idea who was going to publish it or if anybody would. And lo and behold, in 2001, it was published by a major house, HarperCollins. And that was owing to the extraordinary work of an extraordinary literary agent, Peter Fleming. How Peter managed to pull this off is absolutely beyond me. It was a piece of magic for the ages, and you'll see why as I read you some quotes from the book. You would expect this book to have been published perhaps by a small kind of esoteric publishing house, but no, major publisher. So, where do we begin? It was Tupper's thesis, which he expounded in the book, that the following groups could be considered one and the same, or so significantly overlapping that it would be very difficult to tell the difference. And these groups are the ancient Roman Empire, the Vatican, the Jesuits, first and foremost, the Freemasons, and the Knights Templar. That over history and intermixing and overlapping and so on and so forth, these groups congealed into basically one force, a force for power, power over governments, over countries, over the world. I remember probably my last conversation with the late Tupper Saucy. We were standing outside a restaurant, and I said, it seems to me from your book, one of the things that you're implying was that the ancient empire of Rome perceived that its strategy of endless conquest was paying diminishing returns, and that it would no longer be able to prosecute this incredibly expanding empire through war, and thus decided to pursue similar or the same objectives by other means, which ended up eventually in the creation of the Vatican and all that that implies. And he said, well, yes. And with that, we begin. So what we're looking at here, and what is the focus of Tupper's book, is the influence of these groups, particularly the incarnation of the Jesuits, the influence of these groups in the founding of the American Republic, the secret hidden influence. So we start with ancient Rome, and I'm going to read some quotes from the book. Fascism may be an ugly word to many, but its stately emblem is apparently offensive to no one. The emblem of fascism, a pair of them, commands the wall above and behind the Speaker's rostrum in the chamber of the U.S. House of Representatives. They're called fasces. That's F-A-S-C-E-S. F-A-S-C-E-S. And I can think of no reason for them to be there other than to declare the fascistic nature of the American Republican democracy. A fasces is a Roman device. Actually, it originated with the ancient Etruscans, from whom the earliest Romans derived their religious jurisprudence nearly 3,000 years ago. It's an axe head whose handle is a bundle of rods tightly strapped together by a red sinew. It symbolizes the ordering of priestly functions into a single infallible sovereign, an autocrat who could require life and limb of his subjects. If the fasces is entwined with laurel, like the pair on the House of Representatives wall, it signifies Caesarian military power. The Romans called this infallible sovereign Pontifex Maximus, supreme bridge builder. And in the book, Tupper spells out Pontifex Maximus as actually the secret pope of the Jesuit Society, and states that it is actually this pope that rules the Vatican. So there you have a very strong symbol that nobody questions. Above and behind the Speaker's rostrum in the chamber of the U.S. House of Representatives, the fasces, signifying ancient Roman power, Vatican power, Jesuit power. Okay. These are all very startling quotes. Now, as far as the second startlement, Tupper argues in his book that actually the Freemasons are not opposed to the Jesuits at all, but the Masons are in fact secretly a branch of the Jesuit Society. And here is that quote. The highest master of a Masonic lodge received commandments from a, quote, unknown superior, a superior whose will the Masonic master's whole struggle up the degrees had trained him to obey without question. What the masters never realized, the Freemason masters, was that this mysterious personage, the unknown superior, as we shall examine in more detail later, was in fact none other than the Black Pope, the head of the Jesuits, the unknown superior. Now, as far as the founding of the American Republic, why were the Jesuits so interested in attempting to influence, according to Tupper, the Revolutionary War so that it would take place, the founding of the Republic, and in particular, the writing and the ratification of the U.S. Constitution? And here is a key quote on that. Of the 2,500,000 enumerated inhabitants in 1787 America, the Roman Catholic population consisted of no more than 16,000 in Maryland, 7,000 in Pennsylvania, 1,500 in New York, and 200 in Virginia. Once the Constitution was in place, indicating, of course, freedom of religion, a steady influx of European immigrants transformed Roman Catholicism from America's smallest to largest religious domination. By 1850, the higher powers at Rome could view the United States as a viable tributary, if not another papal state. I told you this was going to be interesting and highly controversial, and that's why I suggest that you find a copy of the book if you can, read the whole thing, and make up your own mind. Here's another quote about Freemasonry and the Jesuits and the Templars, the Knights Templar, an ancient Vatican force who grew to have tremendous influence, certainly over Europe in terms of finances and banking. Quote, Freemasonry was the natural, the reasonable, the only intelligent way for the Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican, to control A, the ongoing affront of Protestantism, the increase in divine right kings heading their own national churches independent of Vatican control, and C, the incredible explosion of international mercantilism. Like the aquatic creature whose mouth resembles a comfortable resting place to its prey, the Masonic lodges were a sagacious recycling of the old Templar infrastructure into a dynamic spiritual and economic brotherhood that gave Protestants, Jews, Buddhists, Muslims, agnostics, and anyone else an opportunity to build a better life outside Roman Catholicism, yet still under the Church's superintending eye. Yes, indeedy. And now we have a quote about the famous Boston Tea Party, which was a pivotal moment in the fomenting of the American Revolution of 1776. Tupper Saucy also in the book mentions several of these key moments in the Jesuitical attempt to foment the revolution, establish the new republic in America, pass the Constitution, and thereby bring on freedom of religion and a huge influx of Roman Catholics into America. And here is a quote about the Boston Tea Party. During the night of December 16th, 1773, a gang of Indians climbed aboard certain ships in Boston Harbor, ripped open 342 of the East India Company's tea chests, and threw overboard their contents, valued at $90,000. Well, they looked like Indians, and witnesses thought they were Indians, but the big open secret was that they were Freemasons in disguise. Perhaps the most succinct statement on the subject appears in respected Masonic historian Arthur Edward Waite's New Encyclopedia of Freemasonry. Quote, "The Boston Tea Party was entirely Masonic, carried out by members of the St. John's Masonic Lodge during an adjourned meeting." End quote. And so, if one accepts the thesis that indeed the Freemasons were a branch of the Jesuits, then you see the Jesuit influence in that episode. Scrolling down here, looking to see if I've left out any quotes from this very provocative book, to say the least. Now, here's a statement about the relationship between the Vatican and the Jesuits, because most people have considered and do consider the Jesuit Society as a small group within and under the control of the Vatican. Quote from Rulers of Evil. Then, as an addendum to its closing statements, the Council of Trent, 1545 to 1563, which was a very important council of the Roman Church. This council recommended that the Jesuits, quote, should be given price of place over members of other orders as preachers and professors, end quote. It was at Trent that the Roman Catholic Church began marching to the beat of the Black Papacy, meaning the Jesuits and their unknown superior ruler, the so-called Black Pope. That in a very significant sense, from that point on, the Roman Church was under the heavy influence, and the Vatican was under the heavy influence of the Jesuits. Okay, and I think I'll give you one more quote here that's not exactly on this subject, but it shows you the power of the Jesuits. I'm sure that some of you have heard of the East India Company, which was a major corporation cartel that forwarded the economic interests of the British Empire. Quote, the East India Company was a major subsidizer of the Jesuit mission to Beijing. The Jesuits, in turn, interceded with Oriental monarchs to secure lucrative commercial favors for the company, the East India Company, including monopolies on tea, spices, saltpeter for explosives, silks, and the world's opium trade. Indeed, the East India Company appears to owe its very existence to the Society of Jesus, meaning the Jesuits, an indication of their power. So, you can see why HarperCollins probably would like to forget that it ever published this book in 2001, and probably wondered afterwards what they did. What did we do? And again, it was the amazing negotiation and work of literary agent Peter Fleming that enabled Tupper Saucy's book, Rulers of Evil, to see the light of day from a major publishing house. So you will find as you read the book many, many chapters and statements devoted to the onrush of the American Revolution to separate from England and the covert influences behind the scenes that were urging this to happen, but not for the reasons that the founders would claim, as you've seen from these quotes. It was to expand the power of the Jesuits and the control behind the scenes. Tupper also goes into many other symbols and fascinating decorations and artwork and so forth that adorn the city of Washington. And in fact, I believe I have one more quote here, if I can find it. I thought I included it here, but maybe I didn't. It has to do with Washington, D.C. itself. Let's see if I can get this here. Yeah, here it is. And again, we're looking at the power of the ancient Roman Empire as transmitted covertly through the formation of the Vatican, the Jesuits, Freemasons, Knights Templar. Here's the quote. Consider, the land known today as the District of Columbia bore the name Rome in 1663 property records, and the branch of the Potomac River that bordered Rome on the south was called Tiber, obviously a river in Rome. This information was reported in the 1902 edition of the Catholic Encyclopedia's article on Daniel Carroll. The article, specifically declaring itself of interest to Catholics in the 1902 edition, was deleted from the New Catholic Encyclopedia of 1967. That's just a taste of the concluding chapters of the book, where Tupper discusses in great detail, for example, the gigantic fresco painted inside the Capitol building, and the nature of that painting and what it means and what it obviously shows, and who painted it and how that painter got the commission and who is behind the scenes influencing it, all leading back to the same power structure and leading back to ancient Rome. It's quite a shocker of a book. And I have to say that Tupper not only was a brilliant researcher, but he knew when he was making what we would call in legal discourse a circumstantial case, because there was no smoking gun. And the reader gets to see into that process. The bringing on board of one piece of evidence, another piece, how the puzzle is being put together, so that you can make up your own mind as the jury, so to speak, in the case, as to whether you believe the author is making a good circumstantial case or not. He is pretty transparent about it all through the book. Doesn't try sleight of hand tricks to, coerce the reader into believing what he is trying to prove here. It's an enormous undertaking, as you see when you read especially the events leading up to the Declaration of Independence, the Revolutionary War, the formation and the ratification of the Constitution. Now, in my view, and I have spoken about this before, and I'll close with this, the notions of freedom, independence, the freedom of the individual, the natural state of freedom of the individual, the severe limitation placed on central government, these founding ideas of the Republic stand as principles and ideas independent of and regardless of what the motives of the people who set them down may have had at the time. That is to say, an idea is an idea. It has meaning. It has definition. It transmits meaning. It becomes a principle. And to my mind, nothing disturbs that. Doesn't disturb it then, doesn't disturb it now, in the sense that you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. You don't say, well, because there were covert and perverse motives behind the founding of the American Republic, therefore, it doesn't matter what the ideas were. We just throw out the whole thing. No. That's the statement of a blunted mind that doesn't really understand how to make distinctions. I could go into that at length, but you get my report for tonight, and that is it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, John. I wanted to ask, did you ever see Tupper play?
No, I knew he was a pianist and a songwriter, and believe he won a couple of Emmys. Very talented guy. He was also an artist, and some of his drawings are in the book.
Yep. He is a tremendous artist on all fronts. And this is the other trippy thing. I don't think that book would be published today, at least not with well, it could be self-published, but not with a mainstream publisher like Harper. And because this is the suppressed knowledge, right? They don't want, they don't want this stuff out. But he managed to get it out. And this is the other trippy thing about Tupper that most people don't know. He releases the book. He's outspoken, politics, and everything else. And then the IRS comes knocking on his door. He went to prison for tax evasion. And he was just one of those outspoken guys, man. He was a tax protester. He got involved into politics. He was a creative guy, but he spoke the truth. And speaking the truth and getting that published, the man is going to come back. And usually that's how they do it with the IRS. And
well, this guy was actually, Tupper was a fugitive while he wrote the book.
Right.
So, and he was living in Los Angeles under a different name, the name that I knew him by. I had no idea, aside from the fact that he was writing this book, that he was a fugitive. And it was only much later that one day in the Venice canals, there he was, there the federal agents were, and they arrested him, and he served a short period in prison. And I was just shocked. I mean, this is the same guy as Tupper, and, because he wrote another book called The Miracle on Main Street,
right?
And that was a small publisher, gigantic success.
Right.
And all of a sudden I said, oh, these two people are the same.
Was he cool?
Oh, yeah.
He was cool,
a great guy.
Yeah.
Very interesting. A lot of fun to talk to.
I can only imagine. And thank you for sharing that with us tonight. And it was just timely considering the tremendous show that we had last night. But that's why you're Jon Rappoport and I am not. Thank you so much, John.
All right, Jimmy.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Be safe and be well, man. We'll see you next week on the show.
Okay.
Jon Rappoport. Tupper Saucy, check it out. Oh, just an amazing life and career. And do start off your day every day at nomorefakenews.com. I know I say it every week, but I mean it. nomorefakenews.com. Jon Rappoport. All right, that's it. Opening up the phone lines. It's Thursday night. It is Fadernight. Oh, man, do I got some crazy news for you that's breaking right now. Call-in numbers are 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. I'll be right back with your phone calls next.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
You're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com. This is Ray Hobbs here repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly Ancient Life Oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go Beckley Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product. What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring two Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The two full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tappy.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's Thursday night, Fadernight. 323-825-5045. 323-275-9695. If you are on hold, stay right there. I'll get to you in just a second. It's open lines all night long. Everything is on the table. Great conversation with Jon Rappoport. Nobody brings it like Jon. Unbelievable. But before I get to the phones, I've been talking a lot, well, the world has, about North Korea. And again, I'm not spreading fear porn at all. We have just got ourselves into, the world has, and some decisions have to be made. And none of them at this point are easy. Okay? Now, and the talk about China and their participation in all of this is something else that needs to be considered. And then I started to talk about some of the other reports that have been coming out in the last couple of days about Bitcoin and how North Korea apparently has gone in and robbed a couple of exchanges and to circumvent some of these sanctions and to keep the money flowing into the country. Desperate times, of course. I get that. And I question the security of these Bitcoin exchanges and why they aren't as robust as possible. Okay? Well, now check this out. This is breaking news right now. The price of Bitcoin plunged today. Okay? Its high, which was north of $5,000 per Bitcoin earlier this month, 5,013.91 is where it peaked.
Well, it's plunged. And why? Because of China. Now, listen. Now, isn't this interesting? Chinese authorities have cracked down on Bitcoin and all cryptocurrencies in the country, with the country's biggest exchange announcing the suspension of operations. The virtual currency fell more than 11% today, down to $3,544. And this is far below the $5,000 where it sat earlier this month. Now, according to China Business News, regulators in Shanghai and the country's financial center gave verbal instructions to exchange operators to end services. The exchanges will reportedly shut down on September 30th at the end of the month. BTC China, one of the country's top 3 exchanges, tweeted today that it will close down operations on September 30th. Last week, China banned initial coin offerings, ICOs, referring to them as unauthorized fundraising tools, and those tools may involve financial scams. The Chinese central bank said that those who have already raised money have to pay it back. China accounts for, and this is where it gets interesting, China accounts for 90% of all Bitcoin trading on exchanges, and demand for the virtual currency has been on the rise. The North Koreans invading the Bitcoin exchanges over the last couple of days and stealing Bitcoins. Now, when it was peaking at $5,000, now these Bitcoins may become worthless to not only North Korea, but everybody else that is in possession of Bitcoins with a wallet. Now, think about this for a second. Beijing has strengthened control over Bitcoin trading platforms to prevent them from becoming money laundering sites. It tried to curb capital outflow following fears of continued weakness in their own domestic currency. Now, that's the excuse. Okay, this is what's most important. The country has strict capital controls, which makes it difficult for Chinese citizens to convert the yuan into foreign currency and limits the amount of cash investors can make abroad. Again, this is the story. This is the excuse. This has pushed Chinese investors to use digital currency as a way to circumvent capital controls and minimize risk from falling value of their own Chinese domestic currency. Again, that's the excuse. Could there be something going on, some back channeling going on between Washington and Russia, the rest of the world, putting pressure on China, on North Korea? North Korea went and took all of these Bitcoins, hoping to turn around and get those into the Chinese, exchanges, turn that into cash for North Korea. The timing of this is suspect at best. But that happened today. Very interesting. And also, on the heels of the latest missile launch. And with that, it's Fadernight. It's Thursday night. Open lines all night long. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live.
Jason in Austin, Texas.
Hey, Jason in Austin, Texas. How are you tonight? You're the first caller.
Thank you so much. I'm doing pretty well. Hey, I was listening to you earlier about your couple ideas about North Korea.
Right.
I really have to add a third one.
What is it?
This guy's got to. They either got to scare him to death or kill him. One or the other. That's all there is to it.
I know, right?
I think he's too stupid to back down, and his people are so kept in the dark. Probably 99% of them have no idea what he's doing. And this guy's got to go. That's all there is to it. He's a threat to the entire world.
Well, the question is how is somebody like that taken out? And I'll check this out, Jason. There's another part to this story that the Koreans, the North Koreans, they know nothing about, and that is Kim Fatty Fat, was raised outside of North Korea. He knows what it's like to go to a nice restaurant, to drive nice cars, to have freedom, to be able to go out and shop and do all of these things that you can do outside of North Korea. He's not blind to what the real world is. Only the North Koreans know their world of North Korea. They don't know what it's like out in the West. They have no idea. Or out in the East, right? They don't know. No. He does. He knows what reality is. And that's the crazy part about all of this. It's such a huge lie. Either he's telling the truth to North Korea, right? Right? And we're living the big lie. Or we are living in reality and he is not with North Korea. Now, I'm pretty comfortable in thinking, in my line of thinking, that North Korea doesn't understand what the rest of the world is. And that's the crazy part. They don't know. He does, right? He is living the big lie with his own country. Isn't that a trippy thought? Isn't that kind of strange?
Oh, of course it is. He's keeping his children in the closet. He's keeping them broke. He's keeping them poor. He's keeping them ignorant. These people don't even know what a condom is. I mean, I watch the National Geographic special. They don't know anything. There is no outside communication. But there is another thing we could do that North Korea would never expect, and they would be virtually defenseless against it. We could literally turn their entire world communication system off. They're on fiber optic cable and copper. We could just snip it. That's the end of that. They can't talk to anybody. Yeah. Nobody.
Right.
So as far as him stealing bitcoins, that's over. Right. You have no communications outside your own country. How do you like it?
Right.
Total blackout of all his outside communications to everything and everybody.
Yep, and if you did that, and Jason, thank you for the phone call, man. And I think that's very option number 3 is a good one. Thank you so much, man, and be safe out there.
You're welcome.
Yeah, great phone call. And I'll say this also: when allegedly, I don't know this is fact, but they've only got one pipeline in or out of the country when it comes to the internet. Only one, and that goes through China. And cutting that off or disrupting it is a possibility. And if you do that, then the banking system gets shut down too. One of the sanctions that was proposed was to cut him off of his own bank accounts, right? And look, that money, whatever he has, if he can't spend it and it stays inside of North Korea, snipping that one last pipeline to the internet would certainly cut him off of all that, all banking. So it's a trippy situation. I don't know. I'm going to explore this with all of you as the show continues. I don't know what the options are. I really don't. But if we're going to go puffy-chested, and, this poking is going back and forth between North Korea and the rest of the world, lobbing another missile over Japan, I just think it's just stupid. I really, really do at this point. But that third option, and I just sat and thought about this, if we do go to war and that we're stuck and we've got to evacuate Seoul, we have to, right? We can't. And so what do we do to send the message that we are ready to go? You know what? Maybe we just evacuate Seoul. And literally, like right now, tonight, everybody out of the city. Pack your bags and go south. We'll fix this tomorrow. But tonight, everybody out of the city. And that message to Kim, Fatty Fat, may be the one that he can't deny, that he's been waiting for, the seriousness of the situation. Maybe it would be just that. The only threat that he has, certainly it's nuclear weapons, and I get that, and it's missiles, and I understand that. It is a threat. But the one threat that he has right now, what is it? that his artillery and his missile batteries that are sitting in the mountains right over the DMZ that are within 30 miles of Seoul are completely effective, and at the snap of a finger, he can literally start pummeling Seoul and killing people. But if you take that off of the table, he doesn't have that anymore. So he's going to bomb some buildings. Those get rebuilt. And that literally, that artillery barrage is going to go on ineffectively for a few hours. But all of that would be taken out. So maybe we just evacuate Seoul. Do it now. Think about that. Just empty the city. I know it sounds impossible, but that's what I would do. I would literally say evacuate. That's it. Americans out, dependents out. Let's go. Let's go. Everybody's going to Guam, and we're evacuating. And that may be the message. That may be the one thing that he would understand. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
This is Walt.
Hey, what? I don't believe it.
It is. It's Walt.
Okay, Walt. Okay, prove it to me right now that it is you. What does the coffee cup say that was a gift from you that's sitting in the bunker?
No, a different Walt.
Oh, it's a see. Okay, all right. See, I need to clear out who the real. You're the real Walt. You're a real Walt, but the other Walt, that would have. I haven't talked to him in probably 4 years. How you doing, Walt? Everything good?
So far, so good. But doesn't look too good on the horizon. But so far,
it's going to be just fine. We'll figure out the right thing. I'm serious, man. It's going to be just fine. The alternatives, we can't accept either alternative. I have the feeling somebody is going to capitulate, and it's going to be Kim Fatty Fat. Cut him off of Italian pasta primavera. Cut him off, man. Cut him off. Cut him off. Cut him off of cup of noodles. No more cup of noodles imports for you, pal.
Hey, I want to run some. Hey, Jimmy, I want to run something by you and pick your brain for your insight.
What's that?
Okay. There's some things I picked. I have friends in some weird places, and I've been getting information that probably hard to believe from 99% of the public. But one guy told me a couple of years ago that he has a friend that he's in a shipping department that builds where they build drones, for military drones.
Right.
And he said something that kind of worried me. He said there's the shipping labels were 2 per state. They were sending it out to the major cities. They're expecting troubles, I believe, and they're using them in this country and staging them in secret locations, 2 per state. And this has been a couple of years ago. I was told about this. Now, what do you think that represents?
What is it that they're shipping?
The military type drones, for
that's what I mean. But what is it that they are? What is it that? So that's what they're shipping. They're shipping Predators.
No, yes, Predator drones.
Whoa. Well, that's a whole nother can of worms. I have no idea. I have no idea what that could represent.
I was hoping you could shed some insight as to what you think it meant.
Who knows? I mean, are they drones that can be armed? I mean, are these drones with Tomahawk missiles on them? I mean, not Tomahawk, the TOW missiles. I don't know. Woo, man, that's a crazy thought. That's a crazy thought.
It is.
Well, also, this is the other part. Well, Walt, let me say this really quick. Let's not forget our National Guard. Okay, not the Army, not the Marines, not the Air Force, right? Not the Navy, not the Coast Guard, but our National Guard is across the United States with F-16s, right? F-22s, I think. but they are armed to the teeth. That's our National Guard. And so is the National Guard armed with predators? Are they ready to go? When we go out and we are sending the National Guard to Iraq, to Afghanistan, to Syria, shipping them out, are they going with predators? Is that part of their armament? I don't know. But
here's something else. Here's something else to give you some concern. About 3 years ago or 4 years ago, I haven't shared this with anybody because it bothered me, and I thought, no, it can't be happening. But they took the National Guard leaders, the colonels in charge, and they removed them and put the regular Army leaders in charge of each National Guard. Plus, they removed all the heavy weapons from local guard.
Really? Again,
yeah.
The media has issues with reporting these types of things. Yeah,
I know. That's why I'm on the phone with you. I wanted to share that with. I haven't talked about this to anybody. I know a lot of things. I've been talking to people that I'm really a skeptic at heart, but I've been talking to a lot of people that I trust. I mean, military people that know what they're talking about and are on the inside. And they've been telling me these things over the years, and I keep thinking, oh, by the way, I'm retired. I can't tell you what. And so I exchange. We like to talk about things when you're in the upper management category in DHS. You tend to try to brag about what you know that's a secret with other guys in different departments.
Right.
And I know things I shouldn't even be telling you that. But I'm worried now because here's the bottom line, Jimmy. And the bottom line is this: our economy is messed up. You know that. In fact, it's beyond messed up. And it happens every so often where when the economy gets messed up, what do we do to cure it?
Yeah, we go to war. Well, we've been in a war for the last 20, how many years now since 1991? Somebody help me with the math. 27 years, Oh,
yeah.
And that certainly has a lot to do with trying to prop up the economy and keep these the military-industrial complex profitable and the stockholders and Wall Street and keeping all of that happy. There's no question about that. What freaks me out is fake money. That's what really freaks me out. And when we talk about, and when I'm talking about our dollars in our pockets, this stuff, it's just printed. It's talk about the craziest thing ever. We have religion based on faith. Well, you know what? The dollar is based on faith. Faith, 100% faith. You're hoping that somebody's going to take it and use it in exchange for goods or services in the same value that it was given to you on. If you have you're living paycheck to paycheck like everybody else does, and then and you are accustomed to the whatever it is that you make a month, right? $2,000, $4,000, $6,000. I don't know. Depends on what part of the country and how much you make is relevant to your location in the country. $50,000 a year to somebody living in the Midwest isn't the same as somebody making $50,000 a year in Los Angeles or New York City. You make $50,000 a year in New York City, you're broke, right? You are broke. So it's all. But what if somebody said to you, well, that $50,000 a year, right now, it's worth 1/10 to me today. So and so it's all based on faith. And that's the crazy part to me. When the country and the world is running on the debt that they are and is continuing to, I had read yesterday that the United States, Americans are carrying $1 trillion in credit card debt. Credit card debt.
Wow.
Credit, not the Pentagon, not Washington, no. Credit card debt, $1 trillion. Well, if somebody wants to come and collect that debt, and says, you know what, I want that $1 trillion. Where's it going to come from? The only way to pay off the $1 trillion in credit card debt is with additional fake money printed by the Fed. It's created out of thin air. Fractal banking, Walt, let me freak you out just a little bit. Fractal banking, the way that works, if you are a bank and you go, Walt, right, and you deposit $1,000 into the bank can then, because they are a bank, can loan money out to 10 times that amount. So you deposit $1,000 in the bank. That bank is now able to give out $10,000 worth of loans, create money out of thin air, literally give out loans, not have money printed at the Fed. I'm talking about in a software virtual world. Now they turn out and give loans. Right now, that money, which is now fake, is now out into the system. But it doesn't come from anything. It doesn't come from work. It doesn't come from gold. It isn't an asset. It was just created. And now, one of those people that money went out to, they turn around and put $1,000 back into the bank of fake money that was just created. Then the bank can then turn around and do the exact same thing. And this is what our economy is based on. It's based on faith. And if the world right now, Walt, is running on a $25 to $30 trillion of debt. Of debt.
Yeah, I get my information. I get my information from people family members that worked with I'm not going to use his name, worked with the president of the largest bank in the world. I mean, that's where he used to work in New York. He retired, thank God. And he said they were evil, but and I always said, well, it's a necessary evil. And he said, no, they're evil. Anyway, here's the problem. I'm going to throw something else at you. God, if I haven't already served your
we've got Walt, 60 seconds. So go ahead.
Okay. Here's my worry and concern. Okay. We have to solve the problem. How do they solve the problem? What kind of war is coming? EMP attack from somebody that we tick off.
Right.
I mean, you want to tick off somebody. North Korea is a guy. If they hit us with an EMP, that will solve the economic problem, and it would also allow us to use our secret alien technology weaponry that we've been itching to pull a trigger on.
Right.
That's just a concern I have.
Yeah, and I hear you loud and clear. If it ever needs to get reset, you would do it with an EMP. Thank you so much, Walt. Great conversation.
Thank you.
That's why I love Fadernight right there. And not to be crazy fear-mongering stuff, but if you needed to reset, right? What if you needed to reset? How would you do that? How would you go about a hard reset? Well, wouldn't you do it maybe with an EMP, just to erase everything, right? And somebody came to me and said, "Hey, man, you're 3 months late on your mortgage." After an EMP, if they were able to come out, I go, dude, I paid off my house. My house is bought and paid. Show me that I owe you money. That's right. I'm serious. That would be the craziest thing ever if an EMP hit. I mean, that kind of hard reset, but that's a frightening way to go about it. But I was talking about it the other day. Just what if, right? That's why prepping is not a bad idea, just in case. This is Fade to Black. If you're on hold, stay right there. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. It is Fadernight. Open lines all night long. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black, and I'll be right back with your phone calls next. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
You're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly Ancient Life Oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go Beckley Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product. What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring two Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hard shell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The two full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tappy.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Fadernight, Thursday night. Open lines all night long. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do, at JChurchRadio. And hang out with us over in the Sandbox, which is hashtag F2B. Crazy night in the Sandbox. And, of course, we have two chat rooms over on Spreaker and KGRA, The Planet. All right, secret alien technology. Kim Fatty Fat needs to roll a fatty and chill. That will get, that's from Prince Teddy, by the way. That'll get a retweet. I kind of like that. Man, that's some pretty righteous bud, dude. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Damien from Hamilton.
Hey, Damien. How are you, man?
I'm doing well, Jimmy. And you know what? Like right now, I'm actually in really good spirits, and I'm going to tell you why.
Why?
All this stuff going on with North Korea and all that, we already know how the media in the past has tried to manipulate and bring our frequencies down. They feel threatened. They see what's coming because we're becoming united, Jimmy, and like I mentioned before, it's not going to be an easy road. They're trying to feed all this negative stuff into the world. Like the mainstream media, Jimmy, is they're trying to put people into fear, or like trying to manipulate the way that we think and try to steer us in the wrong direction. And we cannot let that happen, Jimmy. We can't.
No, it's not going to. And Damien, and you're so right about that. And I just feel it in my bones. It's going to play out okay. The alternatives are unacceptable. We can't do it. The thing is that, and the media plays a big part in this, and you're so right about that. They're trying to put the fear into us. I'm telling you, the alternatives are not going to happen. North Korea is not going to be a nuclear power, and they are not now, and they are not going to be in the future. So that alternative's off the table. The other alternative, us going in and bombing the crap out of North Korea, certainly an alternative. Turn it into a parking lot, absolutely. But that alternative is not there. Why? South Korea. That war is not going to it's just not going to happen. So what do you do? I'm telling you, I should be president of the United States. I really should be, because I sit back and I go, look, all right, North is Seoul, that great city, is a problem for us. So evacuate it. Take it off of the table. That threat is gone. And if he saw that, he would realize that threat for him isn't in play anymore. It's off of the table.
Exactly.
He would. What's the alternative for him now? To die?
Well,
no, he's not going to do that. He's not going to. He will give up his nuclear stuff, get it out of there, become a member of society, get imports going in there, and start feeding your country, build some factories, and have a legacy, right? And that's where I see it going. I'm serious. That's where I see it going.
And I understand exactly where you're coming from, too. But if we look at the past, if we really look at where have certain altercations have started from, if we start looking, well, who started this war and for what reasons? Maybe we're being attacked from within. Maybe they're trying to make them the bad guy. And why do I say that? Because maybe they just want to take over another place. We're always at war, Jimmy. We're always at war. And they always try to find a person to pin something on a certain individual. All we know is what they show us in the mainstream media.
That's it.
They can say, and you understand what I'm talking about. They shot this missile here, this missile there, and then everybody gets we need to do something about it. And then everybody backs up the powers that be, which the word I don't even like to use.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody goes in line with that. And then we fall into the same trap that we've been falling into for so long. And
it's a circle.
Something needs to change.
Yep, something needs to change. And that's why you are a breath of fresh air. Thank you so much, Damien.
Yeah, Jimmy, and like I said, I'm in good spirits now, because if I know that this is happening, it's because they realize that more people are coming together and they're really trying to battle us down, but that's not going to happen, Jimmy. And we're all going to need to stick together, think positive thoughts. Like you have your family, your kids. We all have family and kids, and just be there for everyone, and just care and peace and love, man. And that's all that I have to say, Jimmy.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
And thank you for listening.
No,
thank you for
always.
listening. We'll stay together, man. It's all gonna be everything's gonna be okay, Jimmy. And you know what I'm saying, man.
I do,
Thank
Damien.
you for answering my call.
Be safe.
All right, you too, Jimmy. Thank you.
Thank you. Great phone call. And I think Damien not only resonates with this show, but in general, he's fully awake. But I agree with him. I think everything's going to be okay. And to say that I'm in good spirits, that's exactly it. I'm in good spirits too. It's going to be okay. I'm telling you, there is just no way it's going to go off over there. But the first step, and you really want to guarantee it, Just evacuate Seoul. Evacuate Seoul. If I was an advisor to the POTUS, that's what I would say. Just evacuate tonight, not tomorrow. Tonight, out of town. Out of town. Take a tent, take a sleeping bag, get out of town. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy. This is Bev.
Hey, Bev, how are you?
Oh, I'm not doing too bad. How are you doing? How's your toe?
Oh, my toe's fine. You know, Rita's.
Oh, that's good.
You know, last night after the show, got back home, unwrapped it, some more Windex, a little more masking tape, and it's all good. Thank you for asking.
I never heard of putting in Windex on a wound.
It's a joke. You know.
Oh,
it's
okay.
just a joke. It's just a joke, Bev. So what's on your mind tonight?
All this stuff going on in North Korea. It's scary. And, you know, now Japan has nukes, don't they?
Who does?
Japan, don't they have nukes?
No nukes in Japan. No nukes in South Korea. Nobody's got nukes. The only nukes are on Guam.
Oh, God. I was thinking, man, I thought, man, it's a wonder that Japan hasn't struck back.
Yeah, well, you know, after World War II, Japan went non-nuclear, and I can understand why.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so there's no nukes over there. The nukes are with China and Russia, which are both on the North Korean border, by the way. That's where the nukes are. There are no nukes, allegedly, in South Korea. The nukes,
allegedly.
Yeah, the nukes come in from Guam. The nukes are on B-1 bombers and on F-15s.
Okay. Well, and what gets me is we need to find out where he's getting his funding and shut it down.
Yeah, I that's a really weird thing for me. Who is, because the country's broke, and if you're sitting on a $4 billion GNP, that, you know what? That's not much money. It's not. How is that military, which isn't big, but still, you know, $4 billion to us, that doesn't even buy boots for our military.
That's not even chunk change
for
us.
It's not. It doesn't even buy boots. That's not even a day's worth of meals. You know, so think about that. $4 billion. Where's that money coming from that's funding his military and all of this nuclear missile research? It blows my mind. So somebody's guilty.
Well,
Somebody's guilty.
Yes. And, you know, it's really scary for our family because my great-nephew is stationed over there. He's in the Army.
Nah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
No, it's just scary.
It'll be okay, Bev. It'll be okay. And until then, just be safe, be well, and you just be Bev, okay? Give my best to Bob.
Oh, yeah. I will, and I pray for him. I pray for all the soldiers over there.
It'll be fine. You watch. It'll be just fine. We're not going to war over there. We just got to pull the right move. And if we do have to, if it does jump off, I can tell you how it's going to play. We evacuate Seoul. I would do that tonight. Get Seoul emptied. Take that off of the play, and then you just start lobbing missiles, man, at not at the people of North Korea. It's not their fault. No, you just
Kim Fatty Fat.
Yep, Kim Fatty Fat. Thank you so much, Bev. Have a great night.
Well, you too, Jimmy. Thank you for taking my call.
You got it. Thank you, Bev. Great phone call. Man, I love the Fadernauts. Fadernauts are the best. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hello, this is Karen in New Mexico.
Hi, Karen in New Mexico. How are you?
It's Karen, K-A-R-E-N.
I thought you said Cannon, and I'm like, you know what? That's a good call.
Yeah, especially when you're talking about explosives. That would be great.
Yeah. Hey, Karen, how are you?
Oh, good. Well, this is always a kind of an emotional topic for my family because my...
Oh, did we lose you?
Back.
Okay, Karen, we lost
Hello?
you. You said it's an emotional time for you and your family because...
my grandfather was MIA POW in Korea during the Korean conflict, and my grandmother never got a body back from there to bury. So it's a big topic of discussion in our family history. So whenever anything rattles over there, it's, we got an investment
right
in what happened. And so, I've given this a lot of thought, and then over the years I realized I was an experienced or contactee, and noticed the fact that, for instance, someone brought up to me tonight about the missile from Vandenberg Air Force Base that went up, and a UFO flew circles around it like it wasn't even moving, and hit it with some kind of weapon, and basically took out the nuke capability out of that missile.
Right.
So we're the story of the nuclear situation on planet Earth is not just about what we do to each other or the street theater that's involved. Because I really think it's more like saber rattling street theater, macho stuff between nations.
Right.
Because I'm old enough to be in the duck and cover generation, so I always worried about that. And then I got to the point where you just can't worry about it anymore, where you have to say, okay, something else is going on as to why we haven't had that really bad day of all this time that we've had nuclear capability. And I don't expect our visitors from elsewhere to solve our problems. That's something we have to be invested in doing. But I think we need to start calling the street theater for what it is that he might have some nukes, but he's not put them in his missiles, and probably his missiles would be shot down just the same as ours have been. And we need to start saying, to call these guys on the fact that this is just their way to get to scare all of us, to distract us, to make us, always live in this low-level energy of fear, and that they, especially if they're wealthy individuals, have everything to lose even more than most of us do, and call them on the street theater and defund. I'm for the defunding option, because if I recall, North Korea gets their money from the Rothschild faction of the, global powers, as well as, cut them off, just cut the cable. If they don't get attention, how much are they really going to do if we're not talking about that every day? Oh, what's it going to do? What's it going to do? That's the real thing that I think this particular narcissistic guy gets, is the fact that we're all afraid of him or talking about him, and that's what he's really into, is the ego boo of being able to make us all freak out.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel the same with you on all of those points. I really, Karen, I'm serious about this. The one thing that he enjoys right now, he's got his own little plaything. He's got a country. He runs it. It's his thing. Everything that, why give that up? He's not going to give that up. He's not. So it's not going to get to that point. What I do feel that is going to happen, and I feel it in my bones, he's going to give up his nuclear stuff. That's it. He can go and get richer, fatter, eat more food, and have a great time for the rest of his life. And if he manages to have children, pass that legacy on and move forward if he gives up his nuclear weapons. If he doesn't, the alternative, as bad as it is going to war, that's the alternative, and he's dead. So that's it. Just enjoy life. Give it up, man. Just give up your nuclear stuff. When you look at North Korea on a map and you see how tiny it is and how insignificant it is, there is no way that some dude like that, like him, Fatty Fat, is going to be able to dictate things. He doesn't have anything. He doesn't have any oil. He doesn't have any resources. Doesn't have anything that anybody wants. And so for him to think that, The only way that he can play with the big boys is to have nuclear weapons, and people are going to bow down to him. And it's not that kind of party. It's not. There are people in this world that will say no. That's it. It's, you know, they're not going to say, who's going to say yes? Who is actually going to, Karen, honestly, who is going to go, no. You know what, dude? You know what, man? We give up. You're right. You can do whatever you want. And no, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. I don't want it that way, but I'm not the one in power. You know, I don't wield that kind of that power. So
I think he's kept on the chessboard. I keep thinking of the Werner von Braun list of reasons why they keep trying to put up space-based weapons and nation. He's sort of a combo of two of those: nations of concern and a terrorist. So
right.
Somebody's agenda.
Yeah, and the other part of the piece of the puzzle that I've always wondered about, and you just brought it up, is why haven't offensive nuclear weapons been used? Have we been interfered with, by ET to make sure that they weren't used offensively? And I think that there is something to that. You know, not since World War II hasn't happened. It's been a long, long time. A lot of opportunity there. A lot of opportunity for nuclear weapons to have been used, and they haven't. So is that the case? Possibly. But then Kim Fatty Fat comes along, and the fact that he has been testing nuclear weapons there, where's ET now? Why isn't he running interference there and stopping Kim Fatty Fat from testing nuclear weapons? That's where I kind of I trip out a little bit, and I back up and think to myself, if we've ever needed ET to run interference, it's not at Malmstrom Air Force Base. You know, it's not these situations. It's not Rendlesham Forest. We need it right now in the Korean Peninsula, because this is getting ready to get serious. This is going to be something that we really don't want to see. There's no end in sight. And that's the part that scares me. So where is ET? Where are our brothers now? You know.
Well, I think we're under sort of the prime directive type situation where it's kind of where we're, having the free will to try out civilization and see what we come up with, At the same time, there's a sort of, they've got vested interests here. And I have to say that as a contactee, I got this message one time, and it made a lot of sense, is that normally you would have the prime directive. They wouldn't interfere, that is a thing. I think it's universal law. But if there's been an interference, then there can be an intervention. So that's why I think we have so many people being contacted. I think that's why they've been more into the monkeying around with us a little bit, is the fact that there has been something has come in to take tribal humans that are just minding their own business and, being hunter-gatherers, and turn them into warlike beings when at some level it's not completely our real nature. And so whatever that is, they're monitoring the situation. And, the best way, I used to teach kids, so it's like if it's their idea, then they'll embrace it. If it's my idea, they'll resist it. So, make it their idea. Right.
And you're so right on that. I wanted to ask you really quick before we head to the break. You're in Mexico, right?
New Mexico.
Oh, New Mexico. That's different from Mexico. It's a little north.
Yes, but
it's a little north.
Yeah, not too far from Roswell. I moved here about 2 years ago, and I got real excited when I actually heard a commercial for a car dealership in Roswell, and being kind of who I am, that was real exciting to me. I was that close.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, do you hang out? Do you go to Roswell?
Yeah, I've been there a couple times. Went to the 70th anniversary event that they had this last time. It was crazy and exciting and fun. Great speakers and all. And also where we are, we're out in the country a bit, so we've seen some very odd things up in the sky, and have had people come visit us, and they've seen odd things in the sky. So we're, on that AT highway, International Flight Base,
Right.
Fly Zone,
New Mexico, when it comes to really cool sightings and the possibility for strangeness, there's a reason why New Mexico has all of the stuff there that they do. We're talking about missile testing, nuclear testing, laboratories, weapons research, secret, not only space program stuff, but aircraft and air force and research. New Mexico is full of all of that. And then so you combine, it's full of very smart people. Most people don't understand how much research and testing and science goes on in the state of New Mexico. It is an amazing place for that.
We have Sir Richard Branson Spaceport here in Truth-or-Crime.
That's right.
People don't. We have a spaceport. And also what's cool is it's culturally okay to talk about UFOs. I've been to other parts of the country, and, someone will hand you the tinsel to make your hat.
Right.
But here, it's like people ask questions, and it's if you're in a coffee shop, you say something about ET, people will ask you questions, and they're interested.
You drive, when you drive up and down the streets of Roswell, and until you've been there, you don't know. You drive up and down the streets of Roswell, and there is an ET, an alien gray, on the front of, sitting out in the street, a statue in front of every business, furniture store, gas station, 7-Eleven, restaurant, hotel, car dealership, school. It doesn't matter. It's everywhere in that city. It's one of the coolest.
The McDonald's looks like a UFO.
The UFO is a flying. Yeah, the McDonald's is a flying saucer. You gotta love it. Thank you so much, Karen. Be safe and be well out there.
Thanks so much.
Great phone call. The Fadernights are the best. And there's a reason for that. I am serious, though. When you drive around New Mexico, and yes, Sandia and Alamogordo and all of those things are there, but you drive around and you have never seen anywhere in the country like wide open spaces like you do in New Mexico. And you start to understand immediately that if something was going to go down and you needed to be secret, you do it in New Mexico, not Texas, not Arizona. Arizona's wide open, not like New Mexico. I mean, when Rita and I drove from Albuquerque to Roswell, that stretch of freeway, and it's about, I forget what it's like 175 miles or something, but 150 miles of that freeway, and you can check it out for yourself. 150 miles of that freeway, there is not a street light, there's not a house, there's not a radio tower 10 miles off in the distance with lights on it. No, it is utter and complete darkness, no man's land. Nothing, right? Nothing. There's nothing there. And wait till you drive on a freeway like that, at speed, 70 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour, across the desert, doesn't turn, it's perfectly straight, perfectly flat, without a light. There's nothing but you and the headlights on your car. Nothing to the left, nothing to the right. So now when you drive the same freeway during the day and you're wondering to yourself, what's really out there? So you do it during the day, right? And you check it out and you find out there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Nothing, just grasslands or desert, a couple of cows, and you. Yeah, strange stuff goes down in New Mexico. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. If you're on hold, stay right there. More of your phone calls are next. It's Fadernight.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRAradio.com.
Do you worry a lot? If you're forgetful, nervous, moody, or overwhelmed, chances are you're not protecting yourself from the ravaging effects of stress and anxiety. No matter the cause, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, your quality of life, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in as little as 1 to 2 weeks and increase your ability to recall facts, names, and numbers in 4 to 12 weeks. Calm and Clever was created by scientist Kurt Hendricks, a principal investigator in 2 NIH-funded studies on Alzheimer's disease. Try Calm and Clever for 2 months. You'll feel the difference. Call 1-800-758-8746 or go to calmandclever.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. It's Fadernight, open lines, 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Everything's on the table tonight. Of course, we're talking about North Korea, and they've just shot another missile. I'm looking at the tracking of it here, going from North Korea, man, straight over Japan. Straight over Japan and crashed into the Pacific Ocean, not too far from Japan, right there. I'm talking about right over Japan. What if something went wrong? What if something just crazily, tragically went wrong and that missile came down into Japan, landed on to or into Japan? We would be at war right now. I say evacuate Seoul and send a message. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey there, it's Kendra in Ventura.
Hey, Kendra, how are you?
Oh, well, again, tripping hard.
Yep,
It's
yep.
like every day. What's going to happen next?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Kim Fatty Fat's definitely insane and provoking, so much. But what I'm not sure some folks understand is that the U.S. Diplomats have been in pretty continual conversation with North Korean diplomats, and there was an offer, to my understanding, and it's sourced from Democracy Now! And RT, and a third source, I forget which one, so like 3 sources of this, that North Korea offered to put a hold on their nuclear program if we would stop all the war games on the border there at the 38th parallel.
Right.
And we went, nope, never going to happen.
Well, that has been on the table for probably, since going back to the 6-party talks and before. So my guess is, without having numbers in front of me, about 10 years. That has constantly been there. And then China and Russia have been pushing for that over the last couple of months, saying, look, okay, we'll offer this to North Korea, and let's see what they say. But we have told them no each time. That is not going to happen. So, look, I'm not a pacifist by any stretch of the imagination, but that just won't happen. It just won't. And when if you have, and this is what's crazy about it, Kendra. This is what's nuts. If you have a military, if you have a football team, if you have a soccer team, if you have a tennis team, if you have a chess team, a debate team, you practice. You don't not practice. Let's put the debate team together here, but we're never going to practice debating. Well, you go to the debate and you lose. It's the same thing with the military. If you have a military, you have to practice. That's it. You have to go through drills. The fact that these drills are going off of the coast of Korea, let's not forget, we are still technically at war. There's a DMZ there, and we have an armistice. The war never ended. Nobody won, nobody lost. And that's the state of what's going on over there. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you a fact. This is a fact. This is not rumor, crazy stories read on the internet. This was told to me by a relative who was there. Okay? About 10 years ago. No, let me back this up. This would have been around 2002. So let's go 15 years ago. One of our helicopters got shot down. The helicopter was in fog, had drifted across the border there. It was in fog, in training. That's all. Okay? No big deal. But this was from somebody that was there, a witness. And so the helicopter drifted and got shot down by the North Koreans, crashed on the North Korean side, and all of the Americans that were on board, which got off of the helicopter, were wandering in the fog, were all shot and killed. Now, the thing about all of this, everything that there was nothing in the mainstream media about this. Now, when I was told this, I was like, "What do you mean, dude? I was there. I saw the helicopter get shot down. I saw everything go. I saw it happen." Now, and I said, "This wasn't mentioned over here. Nobody's talking. This is the environment that is going on over there. This is what's going on. This isn't just North Korea painted pink and yellow and all happiness. No, it is not. This is the most armed, crazy spot in the world, the DMZ. And we have to practice. We have to. I don't want it to go down. I don't want the DMZ. I want everybody to be happy and but it's quite frankly, that is not the situation. It's just simply not. It's not.
I hear you. I get that. I get that. But
if that this is. Let me suggest one thing, and I said this at the beginning of the show. If that DMZ wasn't there, and that border wasn't there, and those tensions were not there, just imagine for a second, a little minivan driving down into the middle of Seoul with a nuclear weapon on it, not on a missile. Not on a missile. No, nothing like that. Something, that's that area of that's what's going on. And I don't want it. I don't. I'm a realist when it comes to the possibilities.
99.99999% of the world's population doesn't want it. It's just it's like what's really going on. But real quick, I wanted to throw a crazy idea out there. So, I know it's not a political show, but just as a kind of a crazy solution moving forward for this country and pushing it in the direction I think most of us want it to go, is really to form a coalition third party. I've been agreeing for a while, and we're not getting the critical mass we need to, grow our party. But if we could coalesce the Greens, Libertarians, Peace and Freedom, and all the independents, and think about this. For president, Jesse Ventura. Okay?
Wow.
For VP, Cynthia McKinney. She's not a household name, but she's an African-American, used to be a Democrat in Congress, became a Green. She actually ran for president as a Green in 2008, which most people don't know, and she's truly very progressive. I had was able to meet her here in Ventura at an event we did about Palestine in 2009. She's pretty cool. And, of course, Bernie Sanders runs the health department. Hello, right? And he could maybe partner with Dr. Jill Stein, who just ran as a Green, who's a doctor and also knows about environmental health, relating environmental health to human health. And so I'm just going down this list in my mind of, and like if Jesse doesn't want to do it, I'm thinking DiCaprio, as just because we need a name. We need a name that everyone knows about but is truly independent. Jesse Ventura definitely is that. Of course, Leo DiCaprio's definitely a greenie guy, but hey, why not? It's about time. We need one of those in the White House.
Yeah.
And so I was just thinking, so any ideas on like Secretary of State, or maybe Fadernauts could throw this idea around, if you could form your perfect cabinet, and who would we want in the White House that could really overturn the Democrats and Republicans both, because they just need to both be over, and really give them a run for their money, and call it the People's Party, or, something that's just not in one faction or another, but just kind of a 99% sort of the people. We want our White House back, thank you very much. Not that we've ever really had it, but we'd like the White House for a change. How about that? And gender, it has to be gender balanced, as many women as men, and Sherry Hunkala for Department of Interior. I don't know if you know who she is.
Well,
Native American.
I know that you're into it, and
I'm into it.
Yeah, you spend a lot of time on it. The problem with it is, before we end, I'll thank you for the phone call, but the problem with all of that, all of the third-party talk that goes down, it sounds good at first. And it sounds good on paper. It just never happens. And you would have to. This is the thing, that everybody that talks about this, everybody that talks about it, has to actually do it. And that's why there is no third party. You guys talk about it, and it sounds great, but nothing's ever done. Nobody rises up. And that's the whole thing. So if it ever gets pulled, if it ever happens, I'll tell you why it would happen. That everybody actually gets up and votes, or actually gets up and does it, actually creates the party and gets momentum. It just never happens. Look, every election cycle, this has been going on for over 200 years. Every election cycle, this is talked about. Every single
Tell
one,
me about
Kendra.
it.
It's
I'm
always
a green. I know exactly what you mean.
And it never happens. Kendra, have a great, safe rest of your evening.
Let's think about it. 2020, strange things are happening. We got to combat that with more strange. Why not? Let's make it happen. Let's do it.
Thank you,
Jimmy. Let's do it, Fadernuts.
Thank you
Go
so
back
much,
to
Kendra. You got it. Thank you, Kendra.
Bye.
There you go. Let's just stay on the phones. I'm just going to keep this going right down the line. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Paul Barbaro calling from San Jose.
Hey, Paul. How are you tonight, man?
Pretty good. I'm on my 8th book about healing naturally.
Right on.
How you been?
Life is good down here. It's crazy times that we live in, but it's all good, Paul.
Right. I'm besides myself with how awesome that show was yesterday about the Knights Templar. I've been trying to piece together, the pieces for years and years and years, and boy, it brought it all together last night, and I was just on the edge of my seat saying, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I was blown away.
Well, he's the best. I mean, he's the best when it comes to and I said this last night, but when it comes to Scott, Scott's the complete package. Scott is cool. He's fun to hang out with. He's open-minded, and yet he is so well researched when it comes into one of my favorite subjects, the Knights Templar, how it relates to the Mediterranean, going back through time all the way into ancient Egypt and the mystery schools and agendas and the Illuminati and Freemasons. He's a Freemason. So you apply all of that, and the fact that he is right in the center of everybody's business when it comes to the Kensington Rune Stone and the hooked X. The guy is just the complete package, and he's fun to talk to. So you put all of those together, and you get it, and you do a show on it. That's what happens. Things like last night, and I'm totally in agreement with you. Last night was a spectacular show. I haven't had this much email or feedback on a show in a long time, and every night we bring it. We bring the good stuff every night, but last night, that's what happens when you have a great guest like Scott.
Anyway, I love it. Keep up the good work. I really, really admire you.
Thank you so
much. Sorry, I haven't been keeping in touch.
No, absolutely, Paul. And we'll get you on the show here soon. Thank you so much, and be safe.
Okay, yes. Keep in touch. Okay, thank you. Say hi to Rita.
I sure will, Paul. Thank you so much. I was privy to years ago, last year, or was it 2 years ago now? I got to think about it. I sat in on one of Paul's presentations, and I sat in the back and stayed quiet, and it was pretty inspiring and pretty cool. So there you go. Man, these phones are going absolutely nuts. Let's go here. First-time caller. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Kevin from Vancouver.
Hey, Kevin from Vancouver. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, sir. I was just wondering how you were going to evacuate 10 million people.
20 million.
Okay, 20.
Yeah, exactly. You tell them.
And where are you going to put them?
Yep. You tell them to walk. That's what you do.
Yeah, I guess.
If you don't put them in buses, you don't put them on trains. If they don't have a car, you tell them to walk. But you get them out of town. That's what you do. I mean, seriously, I couldn't agree with you more. How do you do that with 20 million people? But you know what? What's the alternative? Not do it? Do you not do it? No, you can't. You can't. And I'm not arguing with you at all. It's a crazy, daunting thing. But what's the alternative?
I don't know, Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what you do. I'm serious. I would just say, you know what? They have evacuation plans in place there. They've been under the threat of war since the war was brought to this little peace treaty back in 1953. So they've been under this threat. They've got things in place. And you know what? You just tell them time is now. Okay? You've been waiting for this. Okay, now it's time to get out of town. And that's what you do. I don't know what the alternative is. So there you go. Thank you so much, Kevin, and be safe, my friend.
Okay, have a good night.
Yeah, you too. All right. You're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, this is Jordan.
Hey, Jordan. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. So you got your bass player has an acoustic bass rack and stack, and your guitar player plays Marshall. Pretty cool.
Well, actually, our lead guitar player plays the acoustic, and the amp is a Madison. It's like a Marshall, but it's like the knockoff version.
Oh.
It's a local. Yeah, it's a local brand from Fort Collins here in Colorado, and they're currently out of business. So
wait a minute. So you do it backwards, is what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. Makes sense to me, man. You got to do what you got to do. The bass player plays a Madison. The guitar player plays an acoustic head. You know what?
Well, we have two guitar players, and the one guitar player plays the Madison, and then one plays the acoustic. And our bass player has a PV. A big PV stack.
Oh, okay. All right, I got you. PV bass heads are pretty cool.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
It sounds good. It sounds real good.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. I'll tell you a funny story. I'll make it really quick. Quiet Riot was reuniting, and the reuniting gig, I think, was in Las Vegas, right? And I'm going to record it. We're going to make an album out of it, do a live recording, live album. And PV shows up in front of Rudy Sarzo's house with a truck. I mean, a truck, right? And I was like, what the heck is going on here? And they unloaded, if I remember right, I got to think about this. They were 8 10s. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 6, 8, 10 cabinets with 8 dual 15. But it was like, man, just a crazy, like 16 cabinets show up with 16 PV bass heads. Right? So think about that for a second. So we go to the rehearsal studio, and Rudy goes, okay, man, now we gotta wire all of this stuff together. I'm like, dude, I don't know how to wire up 16 bass heads. And but we did, and it was a crazy tone. I'll never forget, Rudy plugged in and hit one note on his bass. He's like, how's that sound? I'm like, dude, man, that's pretty cool. That's the tone right there. All right, Jordan, you called me. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, okay, so me and the dudes were, after practice, we're sitting around, we're kind of joking around, but then we actually came up with a serious question.
What's that?
So what would happen, say Neil Armstrong's about to get on the space shuttle, right? About to go to the moon?
Right.
What would happen if he, like, ripped a bong before he went on the space shuttle?
Oh, that's funny. You know, I've thought that very same thought. What would it be like?
Or what if he took LSD before he got on the space shuttle, you know?
Right. I've often thought, what would it be like to rip a bong hit and then get launched on a rocket? What happens to your brain when you're weightless, high on weed? Now,
and then not to mention the G-forces you would suffer during the trip.
Yeah, that must be really cool. Do you think, and I'm not kidding, I mean, that would be the ultimate. Do you think that they've done some pot testing on the International Space Station, some weightless high? You know what?
Yeah,
they vape?
Yeah, that's what we were saying. What would happen if you hotboxed the International Space Station?
Yeah, wow. But you couldn't, though. You know why? The oxygen, you would blow up. So there's no sparks.
But how do they float around without their spacesuits on?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying, Jordan, one spark in that atmosphere, it would catch on fire.
Right. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Yeah, you can't rip bongs. You couldn't even vape. The vape would ignite. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wow, what a drag. So you would have to take pot pills. You could take brownies. You could take.
What if you had 6 brownies up on the space station?
Yeah.
What would that be like?
Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be cool.
Yeah,
could you imagine a couple of, the real deal, right? Brownies, and then looking out the window back at Earth as you're going around. Oh, man.
Dude, that'd be nuts.
Dude, that would be nuts.
Right?
That would be nuts. That would be cool. I'm sure they had to have tested it. You know, and if you're an astronaut, don't you take a secret stash? You know,
dude, I would.
Yeah,
I mean,
a little zipper.
Especially how long you'd be in space. That would depend on like how long your mission was, or like how long you had to stay on the space station. Because sometimes they have to stay there for a really long time. You know, like I mean,
yeah, that's true.
You get bored eventually. You know.
And then what about munchies? If you get munchies in space, now you got to eat space food. That would suck. I mean, do they have Doritos
they just
and
gotta
Big
make
Macs?
Space Cheetos or space Doritos or something.
Jordan, you're the best, man. Tell everybody I said yo in the band.
All right, they say yo.
Thank you, man. I'll talk to you. That's Jordan, and he's a drummer out there in Colorado. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Alex in Pittsburgh, California.
Pittsburgh, California. Where's Pittsburgh? Where's Pittsburgh, California?
Near about 30 miles from San Francisco.
I thought I knew every city in the state. There you go. I've never been to Pittsburgh. So what's on your mind?
It's right over the hill from Concord, and then beyond that is Walnut Creek. Everyone knows Concord and Walnut Creek.
Oh, I've been to Pittsburgh. Yes. I've been to Pittsburgh. I have been to Pittsburgh. I've just refreshed my memory. All right, what's on your mind tonight?
Well, I just want to say my wife and I, we found your show about a week ago, and we've just been enthralled ever since, and we've just learned so much information from just in this last week of what's been shared by your callers and your speakers you have on. I just want to say we really love your show.
How'd you find it?
How did we find that?
I believe we were... Hello, Jimmy. It's Sabrina.
Hi, Sabrina.
We were listening to you, and I believe it was David Wilcock.
Oh, okay. All right. I got you. Well, welcome to the family, and I'll let you guys know. Go back and listen to the archives and stuff. We do this every night, and it's this cool every night of the week. So welcome to the family. It's a big family, but it's cool. Everybody's friends, and just thank you guys for taking the time to call in and let us know that you guys have found us and that you appreciate what we're doing, because that's half of it is you guys in the audience and telling us that you guys are cool.
Excellent. I did have a thought I wanted to share with you. It's just kind of a connecting the dots thought. And that is that, I've been seeing how all this stuff, there's these cabal, I just call them the cabal groups, organizations, who have come all the way from the time of the pyramids. And it seems like there's this connecting the dots pattern of these cabal groups that are manipulating mankind, manipulating society.
Right.
And and looking at all these wars that have happened, it looks like every single war we've had was manipulated, was instigated. And the ones who were the enemies were just whoever they wanted to make look like the enemy at the time to get into the war. Now, isn't it possible that what we've been seeing recently with all these fires and these hurricanes, and then what's going on with North Korea is all instigated, and even Kim Fatty Fat himself is being controlled, manipulated to get attention off of those who are about to go down.
That's exactly right. And now I don't know if it's exactly right, but the idea and the theory and the way you're looking at this is exactly right. You always have to ask yourself that. To me, I don't even think Trump is in control. Okay? Trump's not in control. He gets the phone call. He goes in there and he finds out that he's not the boss. He thought he was the boss, and then he finds out that he's not. I do firmly believe that. So when it goes down to somebody like Kim Fatty Fat, is he just somebody that cannot be controlled? I'm telling you this, and I really mean this. And what's your name again?
Alex.
Alex, we're going to head towards a break right here. So I want to say thank you before the commercials start. We got about 15 seconds. Is this, they were going to let him do his thing until it got to the point where they couldn't let it happen anymore. And I think that we're at that point. That's my take on this. And he's going to find out really quick in the hard way that he's not the boss. He's not. He could sit there and chill out if he wants and enjoy life, or if he wants to go against the grain, he's going to find out that other people will make up his mind for him. Alex, give my best to Sabrina, and thank you guys. First-time callers always go to the head of the line, and welcome to the family, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sabrina. Great phone call. That's what I'm talking about. Fade to Black, Fadernight, 323, Pittsburgh, California. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We'll be right back.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl, Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. GetTheT.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. GetTheT.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional. Ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of ugh. We have so many great supplements, but our super tea is number one. GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
I'm Matt Ray with America's First News. We all know if you're planning a trip, you should shop and compare, right? But why endlessly search the web when you don't have to? Flight Services helps you find the lowest possible airfare. Talk directly to a travel pro right now for the best deals available. Their travel pros have additional discounts not found on websites, and Flight Services provides 24-hour customer service. Call toll-free 844-845-9944. That's 844-845-9944.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring two Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The two full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
shows. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back. Fade to Black, Fadernight. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Open lines. We got enough time here for a few more calls in tonight. Everybody's talking about Kim Fatty Fat and North Korea. It's really funny. I'm just watching. Man, I don't know if this person is listening, but here's a post that says, quit calling names. Calling who? Kim Fatty Fat? That's his name. Will always be his name. That's his name. Quit calling names. This is in junior high school, right? Kim Fatty Fat. Kim Fatty Fat. Here, let me reply here. Watch this. I'm just going to do this in real time. You guys can all watch me do this. Yeah, maybe, but that doesn't change his name. It's Kim Fatty Fat. Enter. Man. Yeah, the MSN are playing you guys for fools. Yeah, no kidding. That's the whole point. That is the whole point. All right. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you do. At JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Come and hang out with us. We have 2 chat rooms, one over in Spreaker and one at KGRA The Planet. And come and hang out with us. Everything is in real time. Thursday night is my favorite night of the week. Look, we always have great guests, and those are great. That's fun, and it's real work. Thursday night is my night off where I get to just kick back, hang out with all of you, take phone calls, have a conversation, figure out what's on everybody's mind, and let's do all of this together. And I just love Thursday nights. It is truly my favorite night of the week. And everybody tonight, I knew it was going to go this route. Why? Because I don't think anybody thought that Kim Fatty Fat was actually going to go and lob another missile over Japan. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, really. I mean, of all the dudes that you just want to, mess around with, it's not Donald Trump. You don't want to mess with the Trumpster. You don't. And that is just crazy. It's just crazy. Crazy. Absolutely. And then now having China clamp down on Bitcoin like they are after the reports came out that North Korea was stealing Bitcoins from exchanges. Now it devalues all of that. So could there be back channeling going on with China and having this response done? Very interesting. It's all strange timing. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live. Yes, you're live right now.
Live right now?
Yes, live right now.
Oh, I was wondering if you saw the XXX Tentacon video.
The XXX Whatacon video?
Tentacon video. It's a rapper. He simulates hanging a white boy in his rap video.
Oh, yes. I didn't know that was his name, but I certainly, I didn't watch the video. No, I did read the stories behind it, and them trying to cast a white kid to come in, and you have to get your parents' permission with all of that, and pretty interesting. So, what's going on?
Not much. I was just calling. I was just seeing if you think that it's more of a social issue or if you think it's more of an occult thing.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, it was for me, and I'll be out. What's your name, by the way?
Bradley. I'm from Pennsylvania.
Okay. What was your name again?
Bradley.
Oh, Bradley. Sorry about that, Bradley. I thought I heard something else. Well, Bradley, when it comes to stuff like that, I understand the artistic side of it, and there was a a black kid that was watching a white kid get hung, and there's some kind of, as an artist, there must be some kind of social message that they were trying to do and get that across in its artistic integrity and so forth. I get all that. Me personally, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch anybody get hung in a video. I mean, it's just crazy stuff for me. So no, I choose.
Somebody gives you really good reviews. I actually stumbled onto you from listening to Clyde Lewis.
Oh yeah, right on.
I didn't even know. Yeah, I didn't even know you existed until like a couple weeks ago. But I really like your show and everything.
Yeah, Clyde's the best. Yeah, thank you for that. And we're on Clyde's show all the time, and he's on this show too as well. And he's really great. But anyway, back to the video. I don't have a comment on it because I haven't watched it. So and for me, it's even in the spirit of research. For me, I think I just would find it, too heavy. Now, it could be excellent. Maybe the message was right. Maybe it's part of the song, and there was something there, and they're trying to push this through. For me, I'm a dad, and I've gone through racial things in this country, and it's just too much for me. Even in the interest of research and journalism, go and do it, watch it so you can report on it. But I just choose to draw a line there. And Bradley, I don't want to sound too strange or too trippy or too soft or too hard or too anything. It's just that I leave it to other people. If they can watch it and report on it and comment, great. It's just not. It's not where it's a zone that I just don't like to go into. Do you feel me?
No.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I watched it in the interest of research just to see. I'm kind of that's the kind of guy I am. But
right.
I think it's up there with like Abramovich's stuff, that with the soul cooking and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, it's just like it doesn't really strike me as having a cultural impact. It's more like an occult impact.
Very interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, we'll see if I, if I cross the line, and if I do, I'll report back on it. But I'll see what the other critics are saying right now, and if there's a reason to go and watch it for the intention of research. But like I said, I'm a dad. See, are you a dad, Bradley?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. I was going to say not yet. Fair enough. Yeah. But as a parent, would you, if your son, if they were casting, right, and you read this, it's an open casting call, and they need this to get done, would you allow your son to be hung in a video?
No.
Exactly. Never. It seems like it's just crossing lines, no matter what the artistic intent is. If Steven Spielberg is shooting some movie, right, and this is going to go on in the scene, and they need to get it done, they're going to have a hard time getting somebody's parent to say okay to this, and it's because it feels wrong to all of us, so there you go. Well, Bradley, thank you for that. And it's interesting that you say that there's an occult spin, something else going on there. All right. Well, thank you for the phone call, man.
Can I ask you one more question? Or?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I was just curious about just what your thoughts were about the former CIA director Mike Morelli leaving Harvard after they hired Chelsea Manning.
Yeah, that's a pretty trippy. Great question, Bradley. Great question. That when we get into that kind of area where you are, you have your beliefs and your ethics and the way that you look at this country and in your belief system, and if you're hard and fast in that, and then she leaked, top secret information and leaked that, no matter what. I've seen the video 1,000 times, and it's a horrific thing to watch. And should that have been leaked? I think so. But nonetheless, she did what she did, and she went to prison. So, or she. I guess today, technically she. Let's go with she. So, but I think that Harvard when you have somebody that's been convicted of those kind of crimes, no matter what, she was pardoned, she was released, and all of that. But there is something that needs to be held up for Harvard. So then you flip that over in the other side. Let's flip it over to the other side, where Harvard wants to give somebody an opportunity, that there's a voice here. We have a unique person with a unique perspective on the media, on top secret information, and being in a position to and to comment that on that and teach that and speak about it in the school system. Well, then there's some value to that too as well. But for him to turn around and go, you know what, this is too much for me. He's standing up for what he believes in, and I do respect that. I don't agree or disagree with what he did, but to take that kind of position is pretty strong, and he's standing up for his beliefs. I question the whole thing from the word go. Her situation. Go ahead.
My thing is that I read the leaks and the story of the leaks and how it happened from the start.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, for me, like there was the senior editor of Wired was the one who first contacted the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, whenever you bring up Chelsea Manning, it's just like, there's a whole piece of that story that has Wired in it that has clearly gotten shunned from the media.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, I think there's some responsibility there, because I think it should have came out too. Because the commander in that video had no idea what he was authorizing.
Yeah, well, and the craziest, most insane part about all of this is what was portrayed in the video, and who was shot, and why, and how. And you watch that, and you watch it over and over again, and you know that it's a camera crew. You know that these aren't, and you know that's, and you're watching these guys run for their lives, man. And to see that going down, that's, now it is war. It's a crazy situation. Uncontrollable things happen. But the fact is, this was evidence of something going down. And should it have been released? I feel like it should have. How it got released and you're leaking, the problem with this is, and this goes down with like guys like Snowden or anybody else. The thing is, we need trust in the system. You need trust in the system. You need to be able to trust the guy on your left, the girl on your right, the woman on your right. You guys need to trust each other. The military is based on trust. And if you've got somebody around you that doesn't care and is leaking secret information to this person or to that person, and you don't know, and you've lost that control, now you've got a problem. Your life could be in danger. And that's
the Army.
That's what's crazy. So what did we do? We're kind of stuck in this weird position. I agree. The video
Army is still responsible, because his commanding officer, Chelsea Manning's, said she advised, like, I think 5 or 6 times before they even deployed to Iraq, that he should not have been deployed at all.
Right. Yeah, I know. What I'm talking about is the leaking of secret information. The leaking of that is, that is crazy stuff. And let me give you an example. Right now we're talking about North Korea and where they're getting their information from, and how are they able to advance this technology on a cheap budget. They don't have to do real research. They're told, they've got plans, they've got things, they've got designs, they have the science. They are able to build nuclear weapons. You know how difficult that is to do, right? Well, they got this information from somewhere, and that's what I'm talking about. Some things need to be just kept. There's certain parts of technology that doesn't need to be leaked, and if things are able to be leaked without penalty, we've got a problem here. You need to be able to trust everybody that's around you, and there are people out there. We have had, Bradley, guys and women, men and women, that have access to sensitive information that don't care if they steal it and sell it because they want a new Jaguar. They want a new house. They want a boat. They want a boat and vacation in Lake Havasu, and they don't care who they're selling it to. Think about that for a second. So it's all part of the big picture. And some people just don't care. And you need to be able to trust everybody. And it's all based on trust. Because anybody could steal anything. With the fact that we trust them and they're sworn to an oath that they won't do it under the penalty of prison and fines, that threat is enough for them not to really leak some crazy stuff or sell stuff. So there you go. Hey, Bradley, thank you so much for the phone call, man. 2 great questions.
You're welcome, man. Yeah, like I said, first time caller. I stumbled onto your show, man, and it's a great show. So
yeah, thank you so much. And next time you talk to Clyde, tell him yo. I'll talk to you. Thank you, man.
Yep. Bye.
Great, man. First time callers, you gotta love it. First time callers. Okay, we got a few minutes left. Let's see here. 2. Yeah, okay. I'm watching all of this. Do not. Some of my emails coming in. Do not watch the video. Bad vibes. Not a good idea. But okay. So there you go. You guys are funny. Okay. Let's go. Let's go on this phone bank here. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy. It's Josh.
Hey, Josh. How are you, man?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. What's on your mind tonight?
I just got in and then just turned you on and caught something about hanging or something in a video or something like that. I was just going to say something that came to my mind was that I remember going to the Ozzy concert back in Blizzard Oz,
right?
You know, and like he had gotten in trouble for urinating on the Alamo,
right?
And they weren't sure that he was going to make it to Dallas, and so like he made it, and second song out, he pulls a wig off, right? That blows your mind, and then there's a small person in a robe that's just like pestering him all the time, and,
right?
Anyway, they did the like Alice Cooper, they hung him.
I remember.
Out there on stage.
Right.
And I was up pretty close, man, and I remember I was like, whoa, because it just blew my mind and stuff. But I had turned on. I didn't hear what the video was about, what y'all were discussing. We just got home, and
yeah, you need to go. You need to go check it out. It's it's just a video of that a rapper made of a little white kid getting hung and a little black kid watching the hanging get done. I've seen stills of the video, but I haven't actually watched it. And so it's a music video. It's not a video. It's a music video. But I haven't seen it, and I don't know if I ever will.
Yeah, I don't know if I will.
All right.
All right, brother. Well, I just wanted to call in. You take care.
You too, Josh.
Peace.
Right back at you. Thank you so much, Josh. And no, I haven't seen the video, and I don't know if I will. Man, I've got some really great stories here, but the phones are jammed. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Jimmy, it's Eric. I got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
We got Dennis Rodman, who lives right there in Newport Beach, not too far from you.
Right.
Wouldn't it be awesome if we can get him on the show and talk about his experience? He's probably the only guy we know that's ever met Mr. Fat.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever told you my Dennis Rodman story. Have I?
I'd love to hear it if you got time.
Oh, man. You know what? It's dumb. It's a dumb story.
Okay.
He was filming on the side of the road for his TV show, and was next door to our offices in Culver City, and he was hitchhiking in hot pants and cowboy boots with a video crew. And so I pulled over. All right. That's enough of that story. But it really happened. It really happened. It was a bizarre.
But if he called into the show and wanted to throw in his 2 cents about Kim Fat, I mean, would you go with that? I mean, if I can get him to call in one night.
He's Dennis is a cool dude. He's a cool dude. Could he be the guy to chill? You know what? In this case, I think it's way above his pay grade. I'm not so sure that watching basketball games and drinking and whatever they do over there, go to strip bars or whatever those two guys do when they hang out. That's one thing. But nuclear diplomacy and nuclear disarmament, I don't think that Kim is interested in what Rodman would have to say. I could be way wrong on this. I could be way wrong. Maybe he's the guy to fly over there and talk some sense into him. It's a possibility. I mean, it's a crazy world. But I think that this is way, way beyond. Look, if cutting off oil imports and trade and feeding your nation, all of that, cutting off your funding, everything that we have done, if that doesn't work, you think Dennis Rodman and a couple shots of chilled vodka and some strippers will pull it off? I don't know.
You never know.
I don't know. Maybe, you know what, just maybe. I mean, Kim Fatty Fat has seen what the free world is like, so maybe he would appreciate that. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think about...
One more quick question. Are you doing the Halloween party at the Omen House this year?
I don't... No. We're not going to be in Southern California. Oh. Yeah, we're not going to be in Southern California. So...
and last thing, Kyle Odom's sentencing is in 12 days.
Yeah, who else is getting... There's a bunch of sentencing going on this week. Sean David Morton, he gets sentenced in 4 days. Wow. I think he's sentenced on the 18th, I think. And then, which I guess, what is that, Monday? And then, or Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday. And then his wife, Melissa, she gets sentenced the day after. And I'm actually, it's funny for everybody that is watching on the bunker camp. I'm literally pulling up my calendar. Yeah, the 18th is Monday, and Tuesday's the 19th, and I think that's what it is. 18th and the 19th for those two. It might be the 19th and the 20th, but I think it's the 18th and the 19th. They get sentenced. What's up with when does Romanek get sentenced?
October, and he's doing not a GoFundMe, but it's some other thing that's similar to a GoFundMe. They're trying to raise $30,000 for a real lawyer because they had public defenders who did a horrible job, in my opinion. So they've got somebody in mind, and they're just trying to raise money because I didn't realize this, that Stan Romanek's on disability and Lisa is not working, so they're pretty poor. They don't have much money. So that's, you need a good lawyer. Whether you're guilty or not, you need a good lawyer.
Yeah, well, so you have to be sentenced before you can appeal. So what?
Oh, is that how it works? I didn't know that.
Yeah. You can't appeal before you've been sentenced. There's nothing to appeal yet. Right.
If they don't give him any jail time, then I kind of think that he should just let it go. But that's his call, obviously.
Well, it depends on how much money you have, but if he doesn't go to jail, right, if they give him time served, which would, for him, that would be the best outcome, then the only reason why you would appeal is to overturn the conviction because you're going to be labeled, a sex offender for life. So if you don't want that hanging on your head, that's why you would want it overturned and win this thing on appeal. That's pretty expensive. I mean, an appeal. See, this is the thing, and I've got 30 seconds. Every time your lawyer picks up the phone, answers a question, types a document or whatever, you get charged for that. And an appeal, which would string on forever, you're talking about a big, big chunk of money. I don't think $30,000 would cover, a couple of weeks worth of business. It's and I'm being serious, man. Lawyers are that is horrifically an expensive venture. So I don't know. We'll see. So you said it's in October?
Yeah, and they're trying to get Daniel Sheehan, by the way,
to defend him.
Yeah,
Danny Sheehan. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. I know. It's a reach, but you never know.
Well, pro bono, man. That's what you do. You get Danny Sheehan on pro bono. I've told Danny myself, if I'm ever in trouble, you're the number I'm calling, and he just laughs about it. All right, man. Got to go. Got to roll credits, Eric.
Right,
Thank
man.
you so much.
Have a good night.
You got it. Yeah, next week, man, everybody's getting the sentencing going down. Yeah, I think Sean David Morton's on Monday. Pretty sure. His wife on Tuesday. We'll see how that plays out. And until then, everybody have a great weekend. Faded Black's executive producer is Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark T. Kovar, LJ3, Renee Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar, Fady by Dale. Webmaster, Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Syndication is KGRA The Planet, and Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Thank you to Jon Rappoport and everyone who called in and tweeted tonight. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2017 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Until Monday, everybody have a great weekend. Be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.